What is going on, guys? It's your host again, back here with another video, and it's about time. Like, I'm actually being serious. It's about time that I came back for another review, and here we have the long anticipated review of Avengers Endgame, which I should have done like literally after I watched the movie in theaters, and yeah, I watched it in the theater. And I really should have done it like like the week after I watched it, or like the day after. But for some reason I didn't do it. Maybe it was because I was still in school. But I'll try to upload more videos. I'll try to, guys. That's what I'm gonna try to do. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get into the review. So, what do I think of the movie overall? It it's a good movie. It's a great movie. That's what I have to say. Came over there to the theater with my friend Elijah, and by the way, shout out to my friend Elijah. He has a YouTube channel. If you want to, you can go subscribe to him. Go subscribe to this channel also. But anyways, yeah. So we watched it together, and we pretty much both liked the movie. We loved the movie pretty much, and I'm here to talk about it. Because, and by the way, if you haven't watched Avengers Endgame, stop this review and go watch it for yourself, because trust me, you're missing out on a lot if you don't watch it. So stop this video and watch the rest of this video once you come back from seeing the movie. So let's get into spoiler territory. So the movie starts off pretty much a few minutes after, like a few minutes or days after, like Avengers Infinity War. Pretty much starts off with wait, before I'm getting too far ahead. So it's pretty much starts off with like a few minutes after Thanos snapped his fingers, and pretty much they show that Hawkeye's family also was part of the decimation, and his family got dusted also. And then it cuts to the Milano, or whatever the ship is called, that the Guardians used in Infinity War, and it pretty much the only passengers in that ship are pretty much Nebula and Tony, and pretty much Tony has only a few resources to survive, and Captain Marvel actually manages to save him. So that was because, well, of course she's gonna save him, because what's the Marvel Cinematic Universe without him? And pretty much the Avengers go after Thanos, except Tony, because he has like a bit of a mental breakdown, and he kind of gets rips his arc reactor out of his chest and passes out. And so the Avengers have to go without him, and pretty much they just go over to Thanos' planet. Like, I'm pretty sure it's Titan, like Titan, pretty much being how do you put this, regrowing, or like healing. That's what I meant. So it cuts the thing to the Avengers going to Titan, and they pretty much brutally murdered Thanos, like legitly. But after what he did in Infinity War, he deserves it. In my opinion, he deserves it. And this time Thor aims for the head, but sadly the Thanos actually destroyed the Infinity Stones, and it cuts to 5 years later, and pretty much everybody's trying to recover from the decimation back, in 2019. Well, 2018, 2019. I don't know. These timelines are already too confusing. And then, Scott Lang, Ant-Man returns, and he comes up with this brilliant idea of time traveling, which is not really time traveling, because you're not gonna change, the future, like a lot, like the present. You're not gonna change the present a lot, but you are gonna create like a alternate reality once you take away like one of the Infinity Stones. But the Avengers come up with an idea to return the Infinity Stones once they get everybody back from the dead. Like Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, all those people that died in Infinity War. So they eventually do get all the Infinity Stones, but not without the death of Black Widow, because she had to sacrifice herself to get the Soul Stone. And pretty much the Avengers managed to get all the Infinity Stones from all the past movies, and pretty much they have to get like somebody to snap their fingers to get everybody back, and who else but then Hulk. and Hulk snaps his fingers, but in the process he injures his arm, and pretty much like Nebula switches place, like the past Nebula switches place with the Nebula of present day, and she brings in past Thanos and his his army into the present, and pretty much his ship destroys the Avengers HQ, and pretty much the Avengers have to fight past Thanos, but not without the help of the Avengers that were dusted in Infinity War. So Spider-Man comes back, of course. Doctor Strange, the Guardians, everybody comes back, and they have like the final battle is just my favorite scene in the whole movie. It's pretty much why I think the movie's so worth it, just because of that one final battle scene. And I have to admit, it's one of the, if not the best moments in the MCU. Just seeing all the MCU heroes joining together, fighting Thanos, and pretty much it all ends with Tony Stark sacrificing himself by snapping his fingers and pretty much dusting Thanos and his army, including Thanos himself, which I have, I'll be honest, it was satisfying, seeing all of his army, turning into dust, especially himself after what he did in Infinity War. He deserves it. So then Tony Stark is he's currently deceased because he sacrificed himself in Endgame. But luckily, in the end, he managed to bring everybody back, and pretty much the threat of Thanos and his army is no longer. But now the Avengers, are homeless. Now that the Avengers HQ is no longer, and pretty much it all ends with Cap going back to every timeline and getting the Infinity Stones back into their timeline, and he pretty much ends up going living a full life with not Betty, Peggy Carter, and he creates like an alternate timeline where he pretty much lives a full life with her and has children, and pretty much he pretty much goes back to the present timeline in the MCU, and pretty much decides to give Sam Wilson the Falcon the shield for some reason instead of giving it to Bucky. I don't know why. Because I'll be honest, he should have gave it to Bucky in my opinion, not Falcon, because they were literally building up to Bucky having the shield, not Sam. Well, not really Sam. I mean, he was getting a little bit of build up, but not that much as Bucky. But that's where the movie ends. Like at least they got the Infinity Stones back into their timeline, and pretty much that's the whole summary of the movie into one, and it pretty much sets up it pretty much sets up Spider-Man Far From Home, which is gonna come out next month, and I'll try to upload more to the Road to Spider-Man Far From Home videos because I haven't done those in a while, so yeah, expect those videos to come up, and so yeah, that's pretty much what Endgame is all about. Bringing all the Avengers back to life, all the dusted Avengers back to life, and they managed to do it, which I'm glad they did, even though it resulted in Tony Stark's death. And pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much the whole movie for you. And a few Q factors, since Kevin Feige mentioned, Captain Marvel's gonna be, the one to defeat Thanos. No, she's not. Hell, she doesn't even get all that screen time in the movie. Like in the beginning, she gets a bit of screen time, but after that, you don't see much of her until the final battle, and she gets knocked out by Thanos. That's all she served, and Captain Marvel versus Thanos. That's all I ended up with. And pretty much Captain Marvel wasn't the one, to defeat Thanos. It was Tony all this time, which confirms the theory that that the reason why Doctor Strange kept Tony alive was to pretty much let Tony live, through Infinity War, only to bring everybody back, sacrifice himself in the end, and plus he was the one that came up with the idea of the quantum realm traveling, because without him they wouldn't got the idea to travel through the quantum realm. I mean, they would with Scott and everything, but they wouldn't have Tony's brain to come up with an idea to actually get it to work, because and the few tests, that Hulk made, they didn't go too well. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it's pretty much the review. And it's good to be back in YouTube, I have to admit. And so, yeah, I recommend this movie. I promise you. You're missing out on a lot if you didn't watch it. So, you better watch it. I'm just kidding. If you want to. It's not my choice if you want to. And, yep, I hope you guys, like my newest update, to my reviews. As you can see, I'm just looking at a green screen right now. But, the camera, like in the actual camera, that you're seeing through the screen, it's, the whole Avengers. Let me see. Here, there. It's because I'm covered. There we go. If you want to, I could just, stand right here, because it's fine. So you can see, all these Avengers over here in the background. See them? There you go. So, yeah, that's pretty much my review of Avengers Endgame. And I really enjoyed it. Hope, to get it, on Blu-ray, or because I really want to watch it again, because this might be my favorite Avengers movie, in my opinion. I mean, sure, the saddest moment was Tony Stark's death, but I loved it. I loved it. Even my friend Elijah can admit that he loved it. And pretty much, yeah, that's my review of Avengers Endgame. Well, up that like button, subscribe, and pretty much I'll try to, upload more videos, in the summer now that I'm on summer break. And so, yeah, see you later, Webbits. All about it when I see you again. When I see